servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. You may be seated. Honorable Senators, about halfway in the parliamentary term, and this is often the most critical time in defining the legacy of a legislature. It is also a critical time for individual legislators in defining their impact as elected representatives of the people. The theme of this retreat speaks volumes. It is shaping the Senate's legacy, reflections, strategies, and the path forward. We will discuss what our achievements are, what our challenges have been, what we can do differently, whether there are any opportunities we need to seize upon, and to answer a number of questions that would assist us to perform better. I wish to thank the leadership for organizing this retreat, which is very timely. And as I said at the beginning, we will not waste a lot of time. I will invite our leaders to speak to us. But before we do that, I'd like to invite our clerk, Mr. Jeremiah Nyegenye, CBS, to come and address us. Karibu, clerk.
Thank you very much, Session Chair. Right Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Kingi, Deputy Speaker, Senator Kathuri Murungi, the leadership of the Senate present, Majority Leader, Senator Cheriot, the Minority Leader, Senator Justice Mazayo, the entire leadership of the Senate present, Commissioners of the Parliamentary Service Commission, Honorable Senators present, representation from the Council of Governors, chairpersons of commissions and independent officers present, staff of the Senate, the Fourth Estate. I'm being very elaborate in the protocols because I will be inviting subsequent speakers to ride on the protocol I will have established. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So you say Happy New Year when you meet a person for the first time, whenever it is. If it is July, it is still Happy New Year because you haven't met them. So I would like to take this opportunity, which we consider to be a great honor and a privilege, to welcome all of you to this Senate midterm assessment and planning retreat for the fourth session. The purpose of this engagement is to make an assessment, evaluate the performance and achievements of the Senate in the first three sessions since the commencement of this 13th Parliament, to take stock of the activities that have been realized so far, the challenges we have encountered, and the opportunities that lie ahead for improvement in the coming session. The midterm of a parliamentary term is often the most critical in shaping the legacy and the output of that parliament. A significant part of the formative years, as we all know, are devoted to learning the ropes, as it were, building working relationships, while the final years, again, as we all know, witness a slowdown in processing of business as the countdown to election shifts the attention of senators. So with the conclusion of the third session, the fourth session presents us with an opportunity for the Senate to build on the momentum of the past year and solidify its legacy through impactful legislative and oversight work. In the third session, we had a number of key developments, some of which include the operationalization of the Senate oversight function, the relocation of senators and committee operations to Bunge Tower, processing of legislative business, including committee activities, relentless advocacy by the Senate for increased allocation of equitable national revenue to the counties. We also had a very low moment, of course, the storming of Parliament by protesters. Now, this planning retreat gives room for senators to reflect on the progress made so far, to address the challenges and map out key priority areas for the fourth session. In achieving this, it is important to recognize the various social changes, increase stakeholder participation, enhance cooperation and collegiality, and advocate for more resource allocation to facilitate the operations of the Senate while also observing austerity measures. I wish to highlight some aspects of the retreat program, which has been carefully curated to speak to things that are close to senators. We will review the performance and output of the Senate in plenary and in committees during the first three sessions. We will look at key issues in devolution and intergovernmental relations for intervention by the Senate. We will review the implementation of the Senate oversight function and how that has fared. We will look at proposed amendments to the Constitution to entrench funds, among them the NGCDF, as well as the Senate Oversight Fund. We will consider the vexed issue of the proposed fourth basis for revenue sharing among county governments that should run us for the years 2025-2026, the financial years 2025-2026, all the way to 2029-2030. We will look at accountability and oversight of resources and experiences from CPAC and CPIC. We will have a conversation on the implementation of health laws and the successes and challenges and possible interventions required. And we will also have a discussion on services and facilities for senators. Finally, we will also interrogate key legislative business priorities for the fourth session. As I conclude, I wish to bring to the attention of the honorable senators that we have invited various government agencies during this event to provide services to senators who may wish to utilize them. At the back of this venue, you will find SHA, the Social Health Authority, for the registration of dependents. You will find the Kenya Revenue Authority, not coming to ask for your taxes, but for you to check your state of compliance with your tax obligations if you wish. You will find the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, for driving license renewal and other services that they provide. I want to take this opportunity to extend our appreciation as a Secretariat to the Speaker of the Senate and the entire leadership and senators for the diligence and commitment that you have displayed in service to the people of our country. And on our part as the administrative arm, we are privileged to continue to serve and to offer the support that we do to enable you to discharge your important constitutional mandates. We thank you and we wish you fruitful deliberations. Asanteni sana.
Can we have a better round of applause for the clerk? Asanteni sana. For the next round of speakers, I'd like to thank you in advance for assisting us to catch up with time. The next speaker is the Senator for Nakuru County. We need to get the visa before we proceed. Thank you. Karibu.
The Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Kingi, the Deputy Speaker, Senator Gathuri Murungi, the leadership of the Senate present, Chairperson, Council of Governors, H.E. Ahmed Abdullahi, Chairperson of Commission and Independent Offices present, the Clerk of the Senate, Honorable Senators present, staff of the Senate, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
It is my pleasant duty to welcome you to the Senate Midterm Assessment and Planning Retreat for the 4th session of the 13th Parliament. It is both an honor and privilege to host this important gathering here in Nakuru County, a place that symbolizes the beauty and diversity of our great nation, Kenya. As we gather here today, we are reminded of the profound responsibility bestowed upon us by the Constitution of Kenya. Article 96 of our Constitution establishes the Senate as a vital institution tasked with representing and protecting the interests of counties and their governments. Over the past 3 sessions, we've worked diligently to fulfill this mandate through registration, representation, and oversight. This retreat provides us with a unique opportunity to reflect on our achievements, address the challenges we have faced, and chart a clear path forward for the 4th session. The midterm period of any parliamentary term is crucially important. It is a time when we must consolidate our gains, strengthen our working relationships, and ensure that we leave a lasting legacy. As we approach the final years of this term, we must remain focused and committed to delivering impactful legislative and oversight work that will benefit the people of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, devolution has been a remarkable journey, one that has fundamentally reshaped the governance landscape of Kenya. It has empowered our counties to exercise greater control over their own affairs, enabled them to design and implement development programs tailored to their specific needs, and brought about a sense of ownership and pride among our people. As senators, we bear the responsibility of safeguarding and advancing the ideas of devolution for the betterment of our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, these great retreats provides a welcome opportunity to engage in thoughtful discussions on several key topics that are central to our work as senators. This will include a review of the senators' performance and output during the first 3 sessions, which will entail taking stock of our achievements and challenges over the past 3 sessions. I look forward to an in-depth assessment of our role in processing business in both plenary and committee settings. By identifying success, bottlenecks, and lessons learned, we can better understand how to enhance our effectiveness in the 4th session. As we look at the key issues in devolution and intergovernmental relations, I would like to take this opportunity to warmly welcome the Council of Governors, County Assemblies Forum, State Department for Devolution, the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, the offices of the Auditor General, and control of budget, as well as representatives from various commissions. As the Senate, we can attest to immense contribution that these offices have made in advancing the dream of devolution. I'm hopeful that the meeting of mind as we identify legislative gaps and priority areas for intervention, ensuring that devolution continues to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm confident that this forum will renew our commitment to our roles as senators, a clear understanding of the challenges we face, and a strategic plan for addressing them. We will leave here a shared vision for the 4th session, a one that is focused on enhancing the Senate's effectiveness in fulfilling its constitutional mandate. As we engage in robust discussions and deliberations during this retreat, let us keep in mind the ultimate goal of devolution is to improve the lives of our people. We must remain focused on the principles of accountability, transparency, and public participation. Our constituencies have entrusted us with their aspirations, and it is our duty to fulfill those aspirations with unwavering dedication and commitment. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I once again extend my appreciation for choosing Nakuru County. It is a county that is not only blessed with a diverse population, but also with unique man-made and natural geographical sites that are a source of pride for our people. I implore each one of you to take some time out of your busy schedules and experience the breathtaking beauty and rich heritage that our county has to offer. From the magnificent Lake Nakuru National Park, home to an abundance of wildlife, and the famous flamingos, to the awe-inspiring Menengai crater, Okayo Jayandamo, which is currently ranked 7th in the world and contributes at 5 megawatts of clean energy, amounting to 42.2% of the national grid. They are all present an opportunity for exploration and ensure. I will not forget to invite you to exciting WSR Safari Rally 2025 series that will kick off on 20th to 23rd March 2025. For your information, Nakuru County provides the best location and destination for the sports and entertainment event, voted for as the best WRC Safari Rally in the world, courtesy of the International Automobile Federation. In 2022, the WRC Safari Rally recorded a global viewership of about 80 million, and media report from last year's competition still waited. This year, the shakedown will be held at a sleeping Moran in Gilgil sub-county. This is the most exciting part of the event, where two cars run side by side. The prize-giving area this year will be held at the Hell's Gate National Park, where the guests of honor will be HE President Dr. William Ruto. Nakuru County indeed has something for everyone. Finally, honorable senators, as we embark on this retreat, let us focus on our duty to ensure that we uphold the principles of devolution, accountability, and transparency, and may our collective efforts further strengthen devolution for the benefit of all Kenyans. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, Senator Keroche. I now would like to invite the Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Enoch Wambua.
So to God we give all the glory. Honorable Speaker, I will accept the invitation by the clerk to write on the protocols that he established, so that I try to save on time. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
The Speaker, I don't have a written speech, and I like it that way. We are here at a very critical moment in our own career as leaders in the Senate. We must begin to realize, perhaps actually begin to get worried, that we've already done halfway, and the remaining half, colleagues, is much, much shorter than the first half, especially in relation to legislative business. So if there is things that senators wanted to do, please, let's get done with them the shortest time possible, because a lot of
time now will be spent on the ground. Mr. Speaker, I will address myself to only two broad issues. One is on warfare issues, and then touch a bit on committees, and that will be done. On the positive side, the first session, the first half, has really been a good time to some extent for the institution of the Senate. Remember, Mr. Speaker, as the clerk said, it is the time that we finally rolled out the oversight fund, which had remained elusive for the longest time. It is the Senate, under your leadership, Mr. Speaker, that has rolled out that fund. Of course, there have been challenges here and there, and I hope that in the fullness of time, then those issues will completely be resolved and we move forward. I've also noted on a positive side that this is the Senate so far that we have witnessed greater visibility for the nominated senators led by Kewasa. The nominated senators this time round have really been very visible. Some of us, for some reason, may not have liked what they are doing or the way they are doing it, but give it to them, they've really been visible. And it's a good thing. Continue pushing the limits. In politics, nothing is given to you. You've got to fight for it. Lastly, on the positive side, I think the senators, as a family, we've done well. Honestly, we've done well. As a family, we've done well. I've seen commitment to issues affecting colleagues, be it weddings, be it when barriers, and as we speak, you know, our colleague Senator Kenywa has lost his dad. So in the same spirit that we have stood with other colleagues, let's remember to stand with Senator Kenywa. And I must tell you, this Senate so far, in terms of standing with your colleagues, you guys have done very well. Congratulations. The Speaker, on the dark side, because there is always a dark side to everything, I think in terms of travel so far, we have sunk to the lowest. And if we don't confront these issues as senators in this sitting, then we would just be playing games with ourselves. This is the first time that I have seen senators being bundled into vehicles to travel to as far as Dodoma for official engagement, left there, and then cars will come much later to pick them. Those are issues that we want to discuss when that time comes. It's about you. It's about your warfare. In terms of committees, I must also admit, whereas there are some committees that have done pretty well, truth be told, we're not doing very well overall in terms of committees. There are committees whose businesses are literally stuck. There's one committee that I don't want to mention, the Speaker. We have more than 200 pending statements. And I wonder how much time really whether we even have time to process that business, and seeing as it were that more business is also piling up. On the relationship between senators and the Secretariat, good people, again, this is a Senate that I have seen physical confrontation between Secretariat and members. We will need to deal with that, because from where I sit, the gap was always that the distance was always there. People always kept their distance. But this time round, I've seen ugly confrontations. while we're here, let's deal with that. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I have heard from my colleagues, these ones who are seated here. If I see them looking at me and wondering, are you going to be completing without saying that thing? No, I'm saying it. Mr. Speaker, while we are here, and I know you have guests, these people, these leaders, these senators, would want to have a very candid conversation with the office of the Speaker in terms of where the Speaker stands, where members of the Speaker's panel stand, especially on issues that are divisive. Because there are issues that are divisive, there are issues where we can't build consensus, and that's a point at which then we must look up to the Speaker to give direction to the House. The Speaker, there is an ease among members that perhaps the office of the Speaker is taking directions that leave a section of the House feeling like they have no father. So those are issues that we'll discuss here. Lastly, members, we will have done ourselves great disservice. We'll have done this country great disservice if we meet here. When the National Assembly met, I think for them, they ran away with the Shah conversation, national conversation on this Shah. I hear the Shah is here. While we are here, and I want to thank Senator Asige, because she tried to push for a special sitting of the Senate to discuss the whole issue of abductions. That did not happen, but we are here. We cannot run away from it. Let's deal with these issues. We are leaders. Let's give direction in this country. And to God again, we continue to give glory. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
A better applause, especially for the good bits that we have done as the Senate. No, you actually commended us for doing well in some, and I'm saying we need to clap for ourselves in regard to that. But everything you said is absolutely important. Next speaker is Senator Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo. Karibu sana, Senator.
Asante sana dadangu Muma, Senator. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Speaker, Amazon Jeffa Kingi, my dear colleagues, all protocols observed. Good morning and Happy New Year. It is with great privilege and honor that I am happy to see you again after a very busy schedule of Christmas and New Year and many other activities. Our retreat today embodies the theme, Shaping the Senate's Legacy, Strategy, and the Path Forward, a critical reflection of our constitutional journey and a pivotal opportunity for strategic planning as we approach the fourth session of the Senate. As we review our work during this midterm assessment, we must ask ourselves, have we lived up to the expectations of the Kenyans? Are we effectively representing the interests of the counties and their citizens? As we hold the executive to account, are we holding the executive to account, ensuring that the public resources are used wisely and that the principles of equity and fairness are upheld in every decision that we make? The answers to these questions will help inform our planning and the fourth session. In the last 2.5 years, we have made strides in fulfilling these responsibilities and advocating for more allocation of funds to our respective counties. And we have debated crucial bills such as the Political Parties Amendment Bill, the Election Amendment Bill, and the Election Offences Amendment Bill, which will pave way for electoral justice in our country, which is an emotive topic. The work of the Senate is both dynamic and demanding, and it is critical that we constantly assess the impact of our intervention on national policy, the devolution process, and the lives of the citizens who entrust us with their votes. The implementation of devolution is still faced with persistent challenges, such as counties that continue to grapple with resource allocation, functional transfers, and establishing robust intergovernmental mechanism. Our role is critical in bridging these gaps, providing legislative oversight and ensuring that constitutional promises of devolution remain vibrant and transformative. Our administrative achievements include the successful allocation to the Bunge Tower and operationalization of the Senate oversight function, demonstrate our commitment to institutional development. Yet these are not endpoints, but stepping stones towards more comprehensive institutional transformation. This retreat, therefore, provides a unique space for us to engage in honest reflection, to celebrate our success, and equally importantly, to acknowledge and address the challenges that lie before us. I urge each one of you to engage fully in the discussion that will unfold, bearing in mind the constitutional mandate we have been entrusted with. I have no doubt that the outcome of this retreat will play a significant role in shaping the direction of the Senate in this coming session. Let us use this time to reflect deeply, to plan strategically, and to strengthen the work that we do for the betterment of all Kenyans, notwithstanding our political affiliations. I want to say this to conclude, that we have had many challenges since in the last session. And more specifically, I want to say some of these challenges are on the side of finances. It is very sad that we note most of our trips that we have done. Some of us have gone on these trips to claim later, or we get refunded of our money. And it is very sad also to realize that I've been in this parliament since when we started the Senate in 2013. I have never witnessed a situation where a senator uses his own money to purchase a ticket and goes and claims later. We never had this in 2013. We never had this in 2017. But now we are having it here, this session from 2022. And I think it's a very, very bad precedent. We shouldn't go that direction. And these are among the issues that I think we need to talk. If there's no money, then there's no need to make a trip. We have sessions where senators, not one, not two, are bundled in buses and being taken to meeting sites like in Dodoma, in Tanzania. Then they're bundled there. And they're senators. So that they can take care of themselves there, and maybe the bus will go back, pick them up later. And they spend 10 hours on the road. This is a shame. It's not something to be proud of, that you are a senator. I've never seen a member of National Assembly traveling in, being grouped together and put in a bus and travel all the way to Tanzania in Dodoma. It's a shame. It's a shame to the Senate. And therefore, I think, truth be told, that we need to do better than that. We need to do better than that. I believe we shall be discussing more, and I know you have written to me. I've got them on my phone with so many issues that we need to discuss. So I think this session will accord us the right opportunity to discuss some of these issues that are happening now, which are very strange to people who are honorable members of the Senate. I thank you so much.
A better applause for the Senate Minority Leader. As I invite the Senate Majority Leader, I'd like to inform us of a slight change of the program. We will not be breaking for tea, so the people who are expected to move into second session, please be ready. For us to save on time, we will actually move on to the next session, and we will do the photo session after lunch, or just before lunch. The teas are outside, served on both sides of the tent, and I would like to encourage us to gently, if we need a cup of tea or coffee, gently slip out and come back with your cup of tea. I'd like to advise those of the opposite gender, it is possible to sip a cup of coffee. I can see Sifuna doing it, and listen, so you can multitask. So I want to encourage you to do that gently, don't disrupt, so that we are able to manage all the tasks simultaneously. So I'd like to invite Majority Leader Senator Aaron Cheruyot to come and address us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. When you said Senator Sifuna is sipping his tea gently, I thought perhaps that's the only thing he can do gently. The Speaker of the Senate and all the leaders that are here, the Senate family, let me ride on the already established protocols. I beg to greet you all good morning. Mr. Speaker, I too have a written speech, but allow me to speak out of my heart and abandon the drafted speech so that I get to reflect properly on the meaning and the placing of this gathering in this beautiful city of Naivasha. Mr. Speaker, sir, driving down to Naivasha this morning, I reflected on the Senate and the journey that has been for the last few years of the existence of this Senate, and thought about its place and the reason for existence. Mr. Speaker, I thought deeply and remembered that we could not perhaps have chosen a more apt location to have our conference than in this city of Naivasha, which is a home city of devolution, because when the 10th Parliament, midway through their term, just like us, retreated here, then as a unicameral house, to put the final coat of paint on our constitution, it was in this very city, perhaps in a hotel not very far from here, that they saw it fit that they grant the Senate of the Republic of Kenya the powers to nurture and uphold, defend, and ensure that devolution succeeds in Kenya.
And therefore, reflecting from here, I hope, Mr. Speaker, that by the time we leave here, we will have asked ourselves whether we have lived up to the expectations of those gallant men and women who sat down in this city and saw that Kenya deserves perhaps what is arguably the best gift that this country has ever bequeathed itself since independence, in the form of devolution. Colleagues and the Senate family as a whole, I asked myself and would wish to challenge you into a reflection and perhaps some thought on who would you, if you're granted an opportunity, and ask who would you vote as perhaps the father or the mother of devolution in modern day Kenya. And I thought about many eminent Kenyans, people who made contribution. Of course, many politicians like myself would wish to claim that prize and think about we championed for this constitution and things like that. But my wandering post, when I thought about the life of one patriot, Dr. Crispin Odhiambo Bai, who paid with his own dear life for devolution to take root actually in this republic. When that gentleman chaired the subcommittee on devolution in the constitution-making process, it was because of his very firm views and his unwavering stand on what devolution portended for this republic that he finally breathed his last, because there are many people who did not wish to see devolution and the success and the promise that it had for this republic. There are many people who believed that we should have remained as one state where up to date in 2025 we'd still be haggling over only one budget. That is commitment. And I thought that perhaps we as the Fourth Senate must pray to God so deeply that he grants us that level of commitment to devolution and the desire to have it to succeed, so that in each of our working day, honorable speakers, members of staff and colleagues, we live up to that depth of commitment and belief in devolution to see it succeed in all our 47 devolved units. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we as a family, we have a very difficult task ahead of us, because each and every day we receive complaints from Kenyans who remind us that as a Senate, it is our primary responsibility and duty to ensure that devolution succeeds. And I will not engage you in a discussion of whether it is succeeding or failing, because you know the answers. You know what we have done well and the areas that we need to improve on. The only thing that I pray for, Mr. Speaker, is a level of commitment that that patriot had in seeing that devolution succeeds in our country. Because, Mr. Speaker, each day when you drive down across the length and the breadth of this republic, you see the successes of devolution, but you also see the opportunity cost that continues to be lost in the form of reports that come to our house from CPIC, PAC, petitions, impeachment hearings, and you hear the gory stories of the things that goes on in our counties and ask yourself, can the Senate really stand up for devolution and think and reflect deeply that there are other Kenyans who are paid, including with their life, and say that while we may not necessarily have to pay with our life, what is it that we as an institution, Mr. Speaker, can do to ensure that 10, 15, 20 years down the line, people look back and say it was indeed in the Fourth Senate that devolution finally found its place and cruised, succeeded, and set up this country on a trajectory on the trajectory of prosperity. Therefore, that's my call to reflection to all of you, colleague senators, this morning. I thank you, and may God bless you as we begin this conference.
Thank you so much, Senate Majority Leader. I'm so glad that you remembered Dr. Mbai, and I personally hope that this can be one of the Senates that can truly be focused about delivering the Article 6 mandate of delivering our consultative and cooperative devolved governance for delivery of services to the people of Kenya. I now wish to invite our Deputy Speaker, Senator Kathuri Murungi, to make his remarks, after which you will invite the Speaker to make his remarks. Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker of the Senate, my colleagues, senators and leaders, and our very able staff, good morning. I want to just make two remarks because a lot have been said. The written speeches are almost the same, so I don't want to dwell on that. Actually, what was given by Senator for Nakuru County, Senator Tabitha, was sufficient enough to cover the whole session on these introductions. So she did it for us. I don't know even what the Honorable Speaker will be able to. That was a summary of everything. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to touch on two issues. As your deputy, on the plenary management, the conduct of our senators, and myself also included. So I want to first thank you most sincerely for managing our house very well and actually instilling discipline in the house. So far, so good, and I want to thank you. As your assistant, I want to comment on that and also to thank the senators. We started with some hiccups, but now I think we are on a very good highway, Senator Sifuna. We're on a highway that we're able to talk to one another and to discuss issues, including those which were raised by my colleague, Deputy Minority Leader, on controversial issues when we are debating. Number two is the management and performance of our committees, where I chair as the liaison chairperson. Let me say the issues that are raised by the Minority Leader, by Senator Enoch Wambua, touches on the performance of the committees. It is through going to the committee work that maybe members travel in one vehicle. It is through doing all those things, committee work. And we have a full session, which we will be able to bring everything, all the challenges, yeah, and the strengths, the challenges, lessons learned, and maybe way forward where we want to be in the next 2.5 years. So I think that is a full session where we'll be able to converse and to discuss on all those matters touching on the committee. So I don't want to dwell on that at this level. So I want to inform the House that the members, the senators who are here are more than 2 thanks, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the members. This is the first meeting this year, and we have almost 2 thanks of the members present. So naomba tafadhali tuweke mkono vizuri, tupigie senators makofi ya kilo. Sio bando, anza hiyo. 1, 2, 3. Another one. Thank you, senators, for this commitment. I know Senate is a house of really able men and women who knows their work, and that is why they are here, so that we start in a good footing. Na ile mambo tutaongea hapa leo, unajua mahali nimetoka mimi niliambiwa uwezi liambia tafadhali toka kisasa tukiwa wazee. Si ndio namna hiyo hata huko Kericho? Yes. So sasa siwezi kulia sasa. Niko na mambo mengi ya kusema lakini sitaki kusema sasa. We will have that opportunity to do that. Therefore, it is now my singular duty to invite my boss, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Senate, to give his remarks. Karibu Bwana Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kathuri. Now, honorable senators, members of the Secretariat, good morning. Allow me to make my remarks, and just like the DS has said, you will note some bit of repetition. I don't know whether we only have one speech right in the entire Senate, so. But nevertheless, I have to do this. Very short remarks, just like my height. My remarks are equally short. Honorable Senators, the midterm assessment and planning retreat for the fourth session of the 13th Parliament is not just another gathering. It is an important moment in our legislative journey as senators. Indeed, it is an opportunity to reflect, strategize, and chart the path forward. Today, we stand at the halfway mark of our term, a point where history tells us that legislators either accelerate the impact or fall into inertia. The question before us is therefore crystal clear. What will the Senate be remembered for? Will we be remembered as a Senate that strengthened devolution, upheld accountability, and championed the interests of counties? Or will we be remembered as a Senate that let opportunities slip away? Our role, as enshrined in Article 96 of the Constitution, is clear. We are here to represent, protect, and defend the interests of counties and the governments. But beyond the constitutional text, our role is a calling, a duty to uphold the promise of devolution and to ensure that the dream of self-governance of our counties is not just a legal provision, but a lived reality for all Kenyans. For the past 3 sessions, we have passed critical legislation to guide county financing and intergovernmental relations. We have exercised oversight through plenary and committees. We have facilitated devolution by engaging county governments, the Council of Governors, and key stakeholders in the devolution space. But as we reflect on these successes, we must also acknowledge the gaps, shortfalls, challenges, and unfinished business. This fourth session presents us with a chance to solidify our legacy. The work we do now will determine how effectively the Senate will discharge its mandate, not just in this Parliament, but for years to come. Honorable Senators, devolution must be practical. It is about the roads we build, the hospitals we equip, the schools we improve, and the lives we change. That is why in this retreat, we must focus on legislation that directly impacts counties, especially financing and revenue sharing. The upcoming debate on the fourth basis for revenue allocation should not just be another routine discussion. It should be a defining moment in how resources are distributed fairly and equitably across the counties. Strengthening Senate oversight by ensuring that devolution funds are used effectively and that corruption and misgovernance do not thrive in our county corridors. Enhancing intergovernmental relations, because the strength of our democracy is primarily determined by how effective our institutions work independently but in harmony. Dear colleagues, our work has not been without obstacles. We have seen instances where critical legislation affecting counties lags in implementation. We have also seen the budget allocation for the Senate remaining a contentious issue, adversely impacting on committees' work. We've also seen county governments continue to struggle with the absorption of funds, late disbursements leading to disruption of essential services. The public perception of the Senate also needs strengthening. We must communicate our constitutional mandate and impact more effectively. As part of our renewed commitment and dedication to make the fourth session more impactful and rewarding, we must agree to slay the dragon of absenteeism, which, as witnessed in the past sessions, so often denied the House the requisite quorum to conduct its business. The same monster must be detrimental to key sessions, such as question time, statement time, in effect, denying Kenyans the opportunity to get answers to pressing governance issues. We must agree to put an end to this habit going forward. As we sit and engage over the next 2 days, let us remember this. We are not just debating policy. We are involved in the business of shaping Kenya's future. We must leave this treaty with clear resolutions. We must ensure that our deliberations translate into tangible action. We are duty-bound to sharpen our focus and undertake our responsibilities with renewed energy and commitment. The Senate is often referred as the upper house, but let us not allow ourselves to be seen as a ceremonial institution. We must continue to prove that we are a house of action, a results-oriented house, a house that is befitting of the high public regard and respect it commands and is responsive. Honorable Senators, let us make no mistake about what this retreat is and isn't. This retreat is not just about reflection. It is about reaffirming a commitment to the successful implementation of devolution and improved governance in our county governments. It is not just about discussion. It is about determining and prioritizing the laws and policies that will fundamentally shape Kenya for years to come. It is not just about the Senate of today. It is about our collective resolve to shape the legacy we will leave for prosperity. As Speaker of the Senate, I pledge my commitment to fostering unity, efficiency, and progress in our work. And on behalf of the Presidium, I pledge nothing short of impartiality and fairness in discharge of our duties as the Presidium. The Senate's success is Kenya's success. The strength of devolution is the strength of our democracy. Let us seize this opportunity to be on the right side of developmental history. In view of the weighty responsibilities in our hands, I call all of us to fully dedicate these 2 days to this retreat and participate in on the sessions till to the very end in order to maximize the envisaged gains and justify investments in this activity. We would wish to see full house for all the sessions. And I know that a request had been made that because of your other busy schedules, you'd wish to leave tomorrow, which is quite in order. But that will depend on whether we fully handle the business before us. If you're able to discharge and handle the business before us, even at the end of today, I may release you. So it's up to you to make sure that what has brought us here is handled effectively before we go back to our respective stations. With these few remarks, I declare this retreat officially open. And I wish all of us fruitful deliberations. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Better applause for the Speaker, please. I now wish to invite the Speaker and the leaders on the podium to take your seats in the plenary and to invite Senator Sigei, Chair for the next session, and the panelists for session 2 to come on stage. Thank you very much.